Okay, let's jump right into this explainer by imagining a scenario that might feel just a little too familiar. Picture your 8-year-old. You tell them that if they clean up their toys perfectly, they'll earn 10 extra minutes of screen time. And almost instantly, the room completely transforms. Toys are sorted, shoes magically get off the floor, and your child is working faster than you ever thought possible. It feels like a massive win, right? But then, a week later, you ask for that exact same help, only this time there's no extra screen time on the table. Your child looks up at you and says, "Well, what do I get?" And when you say, "Nothing, I just need your help," that cooperation just vanishes into thin air. Welcome to our explainer today, where we're going to unpack exactly why that happens, and more importantly, how to build a bridge to true independence.
So if the reward worked, why didn't the behavior last? This question perfectly captures that moment of total parental confusion we've all felt. If the sticker chart or the screen time did its job on Monday, why on earth is Wednesday such a disaster? Well, this highlights our core focus for today: the vital difference between fast, immediate compliance and true, lasting learning. You see, a reward can totally change what a child does right this very second without actually changing what they understand, what they value, or what they're going to choose to do later when no one is paying them.
We've got a lot of incredibly helpful ground to cover today to shift your perspective from frustration to empowerment. Here is our agenda. First, we'll look at the fast compliance illusion, then the 3 pillars of lasting change, 4 common parent mistakes, missing skills, the shift plan, and finally a 7-day transition guide. And I just want to say right up front, there is absolutely no shame here because let's be honest, we have all been there.
Let's start with Section 1, the fast compliance illusion, where speed can unfortunately look a whole lot like depth. Look, a reward is great for starting a new routine or getting over a momentary hump. But here's the trap. A child rushing through their math homework just so they can get back to a video game is reacting entirely to the video game. They aren't developing lasting homework habits, they aren't learning how to pace themselves, and they certainly aren't learning the value of the work itself. The reward is doing exactly what it was designed to do, get a fast result. But our mistake as adults is expecting it to do more than that. Moving right along to Section 2, the 3 pillars of lasting change, moving from performance to ownership. To truly understand why rewards alone don't finish the job, we need to look at 3 scientific concepts that explain how a child actually learns to own a behavior.
The first concept is maintenance. Now, what's really interesting about maintenance is that it proves the child isn't just acting for the immediate prize. The habit has actually stuck. So if you were giving $1 for packing a backpack at night, maintenance is what happens when you stop giving that dollar and the backpack still gets packed. The behavior has maintained its strength because the routine itself was learned, not just the transaction.
The second pillar is generalization. This means the child doesn't just put their dirty dishes in the sink when the sticker chart is front and center on your fridge, but they also remember to do it over at grandma's house or when dad asks instead of mom. It basically means the behavior is flexible and understood across different environments, rather than being tied to one specific room or one specific adult holding a prize.
And the third pillar is internalization. This is the ultimate goal for us as parents. Internalization is where actions, like packing that backpack smoothly, transition from "I'm doing this to earn $1" to "I'm doing this because I really hate feeling rushed and stressed out in the morning." The external reward has been completely replaced by an internal understanding of why the behavior actually benefits them.
Section 3 covers 4 common parent mistakes: treating compliance as proof of learning, keeping rewards at full strength, teaching in only one situation, and forgetting to teach missing skills. The crucial point here is that we parents usually use rewards for a wonderful reason. We just want some peace in our homes. We want less conflict. But we can so easily fall into these 4 traps, which end up making the family completely dependent on the reward chart and stalling out any real growth.
Let's look really closely at the warning signs of that second mistake: keeping a reward at full strength for too long. If you start hearing phrases in your home like, "What do I get?" or "That prize is not big enough," or "I'm not doing it unless you put it on the chart," take a deep breath. Do not shame your child, and please do not shame yourself. This is simply information. It's a data point telling us that the reward system is currently controlling the behavior more than the actual routine is. The system has just become the new price of cooperation.
This brings us perfectly to Section 4, missing skills over missing motivation, and why the command, "clean your room," so often fails. Sometimes a child isn't refusing a responsibility out of stubbornness or a lack of motivation. They actually lack the underlying skills to sort their items, plan where things go, get started without feeling totally overwhelmed, or stay focused when distracted.
A bigger prize won't magically teach a child how to break down a complicated 5-step cleaning routine. They might really want the prize, but they still feel completely lost on how to get it. This brilliantly illustrates the difference between two very different mindsets. In a reward-only approach, you might say, if you put your bag away all week, I'll buy you something on Friday. That relies on a kind of manipulative bribery that eventually fails because the moment Saturday rolls around, that bag is right back on the floor. But in a reward plus teaching approach, you build a bridge. You introduce a physical cue, like a hook by the door. You teach the skill, and you have a definitive, stated plan for ending the reward once that routine becomes easy.
Let's move to Section 5, the shift plan. This is your actionable roadmap out of the reward trap. It's our calm, structured framework to transition your family from that fast compliance we talked about earlier to those lasting internalized habits.
SHIFT is an acronym. First, state one clear behavior. Don't reward being good, reward placing the backpack by the door. Second, help the child understand the purpose. Keep it brief. This gives you more time in the morning. Third, include choice and voice. By offering choices like, do you want to pack before or after your shower, you empower them. Fourth, fade the reward systematically while pointing out the natural benefits. And fifth, test the behavior across different times and settings.
So, what does this actually sound like in your day-to-day life? Memorizing a few of these calm, supportive scripts gives you a really powerful toolkit. Instead of turning every single success into this dramatic celebration, which can kind of make your parental approval feel like just another prize to be won, you can provide specific grounding feedback. Saying something like, you know the first step, show me how you get started, or the chart is getting smaller because the routine is getting stronger, perfectly frames the reward as a temporary training wheel rather than a permanent fixture.
If you're listening to this explainer and feeling totally burnt out by endless negotiations with your kids, Section 6 is exactly for you. This is your 7-day transition guide, a step-by-step lifeline to carefully fading out the bribe while still fully supporting your child's success.
Here's what your week is going to look like. On day 1, you choose just one single behavior to focus on. Keep it simple. By day 3, add a support, like a visual checklist or a timer, so you're actively teaching the skill, not just demanding it. On day 5, offer a meaningful choice about when or how they tackle the task. Day 6 is the big one. Reduce one part of the reward. Now, expect a temporary increase in complaints right here as that familiar payoff changes. That is completely normal. Just stay calm, keep the limit clear, and know you're successfully building the routine. Finally, on day 7, test it out in a slightly new situation.
As we process all of this, we really must look at the balanced evidence. Rewards are not automatically harmful, and you absolutely don't need to panic if you've been using sticker charts. In fact, rewards are incredibly useful, especially for children with ADHD, learning differences, or high stress levels, who might genuinely need more immediate and structured feedback. The key is simply that they are treated as a temporary bridge paired with teaching, rather than becoming an endless destination.
This quote really sums it all up for us. Do not confuse the tool with the final goal. Please do not blame yourself for using a tool that brought quick, necessary relief to your household when you needed it most. We all need a little breathing room sometimes. Just recognize when it's time to put the tool down and start building the actual skills that will serve your child for a lifetime.
I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Take a moment today to choose just one rewarded behavior currently happening in your home and ask yourself, what will help this behavior continue when the reward is gone? Answering that single question is your very first step towards setting the stage for a calmer, more independent future for both your child and your family. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy parenting.